Well, Jim, a replay at Maidstone on a Tuesday night, probably not what you wanted, but they were really good opposition today.
Yeah, look, we prepared for a Tuesday replay because of the turnaround in this competition, which I think full-time professional sides wouldn't be asked to turn around in such circumstances within 3 days, but us part-timers have got to be preparing to turn around from games as quickly as this. So we've already made arrangements for Tuesday. We've already considered what opportunities that gives us to freshen the team up, which players might be affected at work, which players might be affected by being. I think on the balance of the game, I think Maidstone will probably feel that they deserve to have that draw and that opportunity to win it at their place.
You can see what it meant to them, the way they celebrated with their travelling fans today. It's a big result for them today.
I mean, obviously, they probably John's been quite respectful about how we've been playing at the moment and that we're a good side. I thought any of our fans have seen us in the last 2 games and seen today would probably feel that we lacked that edge today, that we looked perhaps a little bit fatigued. Perhaps they managed the game well and took the energy out of the game. Not the same crowd. Lots of things about the game that meant that we weren't really firing on all cylinders like we had in previous games. But leaving that aside, they've got strength in all the right areas. They know you could see what their game plan and how they were going about the business. And it's always difficult then when you go one down because they obviously the game plan's starting to work. But we showed sparks, but we didn't do enough really to go and deserve to win the game.
Were you disappointed that we haven't got the equaliser? You seem to go a little bit flat immediately after that, and that was probably the point where I certainly expected County to kick on at that stage. Yeah,
but I think that's probably the fact that I think we've got to remember these lads have got jobs and they've been playing a lot of games and we've been talking about this for quite a while as a staff that we're on a fantastic run and the lads are right up there in terms of perhaps beyond the normal realm of what they would do in a game, whether that be adrenaline based, whether that be the fact that they're that fit, and it does come at a cost, when you've had 2 really tough games, Telford and Southport, massive results. We tried to manage the Thursday training as well as we could, but you could see that a couple of lads weren't as sharp and incisive and full of adrenaline like they had in previous games. So I'm not going to be too hard on them. Like I said, but maybe now is a good time for us to consider that which players can recover for Tuesday and which players are absolutely desperate to show that they've got the right energy levels.
Do you feel the week that you've had personally and the fact you weren't able to sit on the touchline today, do you think that's affected the intensity at all today in terms of preparation and the match itself?
No, there's no problem with the preparation. I don't know. I mean, there's always going to be people say that was the reason. I asked the staff and the players, and I could have been there, but I've had games before where I've been there and I've tried to stimulate and it's not happened. I think it was one of those games where they couldn't get themselves going, and there wasn't anything in the game or any particular player that was dragging us forward. So I just don't know. Any time we have a result, good or bad, I look at myself and think, did I get this right? Was the preparation right? Was the substitution right? Did we make the right changes at the right time? I always analyse myself first before anybody else. But I think across the board, we had a lot of players who were perhaps 1 or 2 notches below where they've been, and if we do that, then we're not going to get the results. But that's a measure of this team, not to play well and still get a very respectable draw against a team from a higher level. So we just need now to just have a good recovery over the weekend and prepare professionally and make sure that we give a good account of ourselves. So we're not going to be like Salford and send the academy lads down. So this tie is very much alive, and now we're starting to. I'm not sure about how the Fyle Barnet game went, but we're starting to see who's in the next round, and it's a tasty competition with some quality from the national and some quality from the national north in it.
Obviously, you've got your full-time players, and there's plenty of them now in the squad. But Are any of the part-time players unavailable to you on Tuesday because of that short turnaround?
We've obviously the Keighren way they don't, nothing surprises them. They can see what the fixtures are. They know what we give them plenty of advance notice of what's going to happen. They'd probably made provisional arrangements for Truro away with their companies, and they've obviously got very respectable and accommodating companies. If we were to miss one or two, I wouldn't see it as a negative. I'd see it as an opportunity perhaps for them to have a rest in preparation for Saturday's game, and for other players who desperately need minutes. Because one of the things we talked about was that we've had a game 2 weeks ago in the Cheshire Senior Cup, and this replay potentially allows us to give other players a chance, and then in 2 weeks, so the minimum that some of our, I won't call them fringe players, but the squad players, that first team players who are not playing regularly, can get a game. So it may actually be to our advantage to have a replay and play the players. I mean, Paul would be desperate for a start, and Jake and Elliot and Dan Cowan, who's sat in the they're all ready to step in and do the job. Dan did it at Curzon and Yeovil, so we've no qualms that the quality that we can bring into the squad to allow people to either rest or to not to compromise their jobs, their full-time jobs, then we'll make that decision. But that's what I'll be consulting with the lads. I've told them to go away, have a think about it, chat with the bosses, and then if there's any major issues, to come back to me before Monday, so that when we plan Monday, we're looking at the shape of the team and picking a team and preparing training on Monday with the team and the game plan in mind.
Just finally, Jim, I'm sure you've had a look at the league results since you finished this game, and obviously defeat for Chorley at home to Ashton United today, but a win for Spennymoor, and they really are hot on your heels now. And is it a three-way title race now, do you think? With 10 or 11 games to go, I think people have been saying it's a three-way. 10 or 11 games to go. If Brackley continue their form, they could get themselves in there, but it definitely at the moment, or you would have said over the course of the season, what Chorley have been doing and the way that our form we're in, the Spennymoor, and with that bit of a gap, that it does look like it's going to come from us three, and we've all got to play each other. So so that's where next Saturday's game is critically important for us, and making sure that we do have one eye on that. But yeah, it was it's not a shock result, because I know Ashton are capable of containing teams, and but it's a hell of a result for them, and that gives them a fighting chance. But this is this stage of the season when teams at the bottom are maybe sometimes hungrier and harder working for points than some teams at the top that think maybe they're in a good position. So that's the beauty of football, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of twists and turns before we get to the end of April. I'll see you in Maidstone on Tuesday.
Thanks much.
Thank you.